Good evening, Professor Roberts. I chose the video option for the second guided critical activity for this semester's final. So in regards to the 4 questions, I think that in my community, nationally, the most difficult situation we're facing today is the amount of prejudice that still exists in our world. The amount of hate and hate crimes that spawn from that hate, whether it be against people of a different race, people of a different religion, or gender. I think that we see it very prevalently with the against the races and genders right now in our country. People on both sides are just creating hateful situations, specifically the protests that went on earlier in the year, white supremacists, and then the responses with the Black Lives Matters movement. While most of that seems to be peaceful, some of it has been violent as well. And then very currently we are dealing with the kind of battle of the sexes, if you will, with these women coming out and stating that they were assaulted however many years ago, and many of them this may be the case, and it's great that they are finding a way to come forward now. However, I feel like in some of the cases, it's quite possible that this is coming from just kind of a hateful place, and maybe there are some false allegations I see that were coming that are being unearthed now. Some of these women aren't necessarily being truthful. And then on the other end of that, I fear that we may start to see men living in fear of, being accused of something they didn't necessarily do, and that just creating more tension. So prejudice is a very prevalent, difficult situation in our nation right now. And I think the question that raises about God is if he created all people equally, then why, and if he loves people all the same, then why are we seeing so much of these hate crimes and deaths related to specifically the racial tensions? Why are these being allowed to happen by God? I had a friend, a young college-age kid, ask me that recently. If God loves all people, why is he allowing one race to be harmed more than another? Sorry, I took some notes. I think that my Christian theology can be helpful in that I know God is love. God does love all people the same, and it really is humans, us in our fallen nature, who are causing this. And I can use theology to speak light and hope into these people's lives who approach me with these types of questions. I know that God gave us free will, and that free will is what allows us to be hateful towards our fellow humans, our fellow human beings. And if people would maybe take the time to study theology, or people like myself who are studying theology were able to better share the word of the Bible with people, that maybe we wouldn't see so much hate in the world. And I think that in regards to the final question, how does my context, who I am, shape my response to this? I grew up in a culturally educated home. I grew up in the military, so moving a lot. I was exposed to many different cultures. I was very fortunate to travel to many different countries growing up, and I grew up thinking everyone was equal, not seeing colors of skin. It was me and my sister growing up, and my dad raised us to do anything we wanted to do, whether it was a typically male job or not. My first choice of job was paramedic, firefighter paramedic, which is dominated by the males. So I grew up not seeing prejudice, really, not thinking that it still existed, until I moved to Georgia and experienced firsthand that it is still a very real problem. I also was teased growing up a lot, so I tend to be empathetic towards anyone who is made to feel bad because of who they are or what they look like. So I think that that makes this a very big deal to me, very close to my heart, and something that I want to change. So I will use my theology, my knowledge about God, to arm myself and be prepared to defend those who are being unjustly discriminated against, and to hopefully change the hearts of those who are discriminating. Thank you very much for a wonderful semester, and I hope you enjoy your Christmas. Merry Christmas.